Hey everybody, today is primarily a news dump, but we're going to start with the big news about Mount Fuji. Well, the news is in, the vote is in. Mount Fuji is officially a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Mount Fuji has a primary place in Japanese culture. It's the symbol of Japan that most people know about from art or culture. And you can see it from Tokyo and from Yokohama, and it's an impressive mountain. It's the tallest in Japan, and let me check how tall it is because I don't want to say it wrong. 3,776 meters, and I have to climb it again this summer. Yeah, the wisdom is climbing Mount Fuji once makes you wise, climbing Mount Fuji twice makes you a fool. So, yay, fool! It is a pretty impressive site, so if you get the opportunity, you can see it from the Shinkansen between the Kansai area and the Kanto region. If you're heading between Tokyo and Osaka or Nagoya, then make sure that you're on the correct side of the train. You either get to see the ocean or you get to see Mount Fuji. So make sure you get on the Mount Fuji side at least once. There are two things that happened in education this week that I really want to talk about, but the one of them's pretty big and the other is not quite as big. We're going to start with the small one first. University of Tokyo was contemplating a fall start for entrance for its students, which I think is a perfectly good idea. That will allow more foreign students to be able to come and get an education at the school, and it will also help spread the idea of a false start for, not false start, a fall start for the rest of the universities in Japan. Somebody needed to step forward to do it, or at least a rolling entry where students could come in April or come in September. As it stands now, students graduate in March and then start school in April, start university in April. So the University of Tokyo has changed its mind. Instead of a fall start, what they're going to do is switch to quarter systems, and that means each semester will be split in half, and then first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and if you want, you can take the second quarter off to go do something. Basically, it becomes a summer vacation. It'll be interesting if it stays that way. I'm not entirely sure what the big deal is about allowing students to begin in the fall. The biggest fight against it is, well, all of the recruiting for businesses and stuff all happen in February and March, and if students start in the fall, then they won't be able to go do the recruiting stuff on time. Don't care. If enough students start in the fall and finish in the spring, then the businesses will have to change to accommodate that. It's not the school's job to accommodate the business ideas. It's just my opinion, and I think the school should go ahead and move to a rolling start, so students could start in April or September, whichever they want. They shouldn't have to apply for it. They just tell the school when they're going to show up. They pass the test, let them decide. The last thing I want to talk about is anti-bullying legislation is passed, and I want to make sure I get some of this information right. I was happy that finally there's legislation on the books for it, but I'm not entirely sure how much this is going to do. The big change for it will allow the parents and victims to be able to see what the investigation found out. Now, why they weren't able to find out what the investigation said before, I don't know. I don't know enough about Japanese law to be able to comment on it. The new bill does give teachers a little bit more leeway on dealing with bullies. If a student has been found to be bullying another student, then the bully will be moved into a separate classroom. I'm not entirely sure which problems this solves other than proximity, and that is an issue, but it doesn't actually really address the root of the problem. We need more counselors in Japanese schools. The main problem that I see with the law is that it talks about bullying that occurs over a long period of time. The problem is you don't want bullying to occur over a long period of time. You want to stop it when it first begins. And I'm not sure that this bill gives the teachers the tools to be able to do that, or recognize it for that matter. One of the interesting things about the law is that it does finally equate some of the traditional bullying tactics to actual laws. So striking another student is assault, etc., etc. Defamation of character is in there, things like that. and it deals mostly with mental and physical abuse. I'm not entirely sure why these aren't automatically under those categories anyway. Or are people under 18 here automatically not subject to the law? It seems like this should have been a tool that the education system should have been able to use a long time ago, not just today. So it'll be interesting. We'll watch this for a couple of weeks and see what happens with bullying in Japan. I don't see anything in particular changing right away, but once we get a little information about how the bill is written and we can see what the actual stipulations are in it, then we'll be able to find out how well this is going to work. I am cautiously optimistic, a little. Anyway, that's it for today. I will see you all later on this week, and have a good one.